On today's wrestling news, the Royal Rumble is going to Saudi Arabia.
Cody Rhodes and John Cena is currently planned for WrestleMania 41.
Got news on a brand new WWE TV show.
And we've got news on a WWE superstar who is out of action with an arm injury.
Are you ready? Are you ready for the news times? My name is Phil Chambers and I'm joined by Gareth Morgan. Happy New Year and all that. Wrestling news, that's what we're doing. Royal Rumble is going to Saudi Arabia. Yay. Good start to the year. So this is coming from PW Insider, and they sort of said that it is going in 2026, and we should expect an announcement about this pretty soon, potentially as soon as the Raw Netflix debut, which is happening on Monday, obviously. Now this isn't completely out of the blue. We have had rumblings about something like this happening before. Turki Al-Sheikh, who is the chairman of the Saudi Arabia General Entertainment Authority, has spoken to Ariel Helwani on the MMA Hour podcast before about him wanting to bring either a WrestleMania or a Royal Rumble to Saudi Arabia, sort of in the time scale of 2026 to 2027. So this is obviously the first thing of that. And potentially, if they're going to be taking the Royal Rumble outside of the US and taking that over to Saudi Arabia, I mean, it's not outside of the realms of possibility that they could take a Mania over there as well before this deal is up. Now, the Saudi Arabia sports deal thing started in 2018. It was a 10-year deal that they signed, so they've got until 2028. So they're obviously kind of ramping this up towards the end of this current deal. But also, that doesn't mean that the deal's going to be over in 2028. It just means they might just sign a new one and get billions more dollars out of it. So this is going to be the first time the Royal Rumble is held outside of the US since Canada in 1988, which was before the Royal Rumble was technically even its own pay-per-view. It was a TV show. It was aired on USA Network back then. And then in 2029 it became a pay-per-view and has been ever since. And yeah, so the first time the Royal Rumble held outside of the US in a long ass time. The first big major full-on pay-per-view for them to take to Saudi Arabia. Obviously they had the greatest Royal Rumble, but they've kind of spoken around that and not being canon in terms of the Royal Rumble as a show. But yeah, it's kind of big news, this one.
Yeah, I feel like they have been slowly ramping this up. We had, was it Elimination Chamber? A couple of, I think may have had one or two of those in Saudi over the years, and now it just feels like that natural progression, isn't it? And it might be one of those things where, as like you said, they're coming towards the end of that deal. Maybe they want to just keep building, and maybe peak with WrestleMania. So the people over in Saudi then go, oh, you give us WrestleMania, have another deal. I don't know how business works, but that would make sense to me. Maybe wait till the end to peak and throw out your best and biggest thing. Whether I'd like watching that happen is another thing altogether. The only tiny silver lining is it may be on at a decent time for the UK. That's a very selfish thing to say, but yeah. But personally, I just like WrestleMania and the Royal Rumble in the UK. I'm just going to say it. I'm flying that flag. That they should have gone there instead. But it is what it is. These things were almost inevitably going to happen within this deal because there's just a lot of money involved. It's as simple as that. A lot of money, and money makes people's heads turn. So that's what's happening. But in, I don't know, different news, I guess Road to WrestleMania news, if you want to call it that. We talked about the Royal Rumble. We have a bit of news here about a massive match that looks set to go down at WrestleMania 41. Obviously, you've got so many big players on the table right now coming into this WrestleMania. It seems like you literally can't miss. Just throw any combination together and it's going to be huge. And here's just one of them. Cody Rhodes versus John Cena at WrestleMania 41 for the undisputed WWE, and they said Universal, it's been a while, undisputed WWE Championship. Yeah, so for one of the big world titles, obviously in WWE. Dave Meltzer's confirmed that in the Wrestling Observer newsletter, that as of this moment, that is planned to take place. That is there. That is probably written down, maybe in pencil, not quite in pen. It's written there. If it does happen, the idea behind this, like I just said, would be that Cena's challenging Rhodes for that title, for that world title, because he's attempting to break the world title record that Ric Flair has. That's the big thing. That's what a lot of people have been thinking about in WWE with this last run for Cena. But Meltzer also noted that, this whole thing is not etched in stone. It could change if a certain Rocky comes back. If Dwayne Johnson just suddenly goes, you know what, yeah, I do want to wrestle at WrestleMania, actually. I've just been kind of putting it out there that I didn't want to do it, but actually, no, I do. If that happens, then yeah, he'll be there. He'll be doing his thing. So the full write-up within the Observer, I'll just go through it really quickly so I don't miss anything. So it says, so for WrestleMania, the reports of Rhodes versus John Cena are accurate as things stand right now. The idea of Cena challenging one of the two champions in an attempt to break the so-called record of 16 reigns that he and Flair share has been a working idea for months. At first, it was the Raw title, given Rhodes versus Rock would be the other title, and People's Belt. Yeah, that thing ain't going away, is it? This isn't etched in stone because whatever Rock wants to do, he's likely going to be able to do. I do know that people are expecting him to appear on the show in some form. As for wrestling on the show, I even know people at the top who are expecting that. But it's not a sure thing, and one would think the Netflix show, the one that's going to come in like 3 days' time, whenever it is, will kick off the season and tip the hand. Rock could do another match, even though WWE title versus People's title was what he wanted after Mania. So that's what Rocky wants to do. Whether Rocky gets what he wants this year, we'll have to wait and see. Can't wait for the next documentary.
Always gets what he wants.
Yeah, well, does he? Does he now? Well, it didn't happen last year.
He got it in the end.
Yeah, he got something close. He got stupid People's title, didn't he? So yeah, I can't wait. Already, you can just feel it. The politics at play, like the whispers backstage. Who's going to win the Rumble? What's going to happen? This is my favorite time of year as a wrestling fan, both watching it, like what's happening in the ring, and behind the scenes. It's just, there's drama everywhere, and it looks like we're going to get more of it.
Yeah, it's an embarrassment of riches in terms of this WrestleMania card as well, because it's like, even if a huge spanner does get thrown in the works, there's still so many incredible options and ways that you can go leading into this WrestleMania, and they're all shaping up to be amazing. So I'm kind of fascinated by how it's all going to shake out. Obviously, Cena versus Cody Rhodes is going to be on the card somewhere, whether it's like at WrestleMania or whether something happens to stop it being at WrestleMania and they move it back to like a SummerSlam or something like that. They're going to have that match at some point because they're going to have to do this era's top babyface versus the previous era's top babyface at some point.
There's a point though, actually. Are they going to go face-face? Does Cody turn heel? I may have speculated on that in a video we did, but maybe he does. Maybe this is the one that you do it for. You can't turn Cena heel in his last year, surely.
No, I think you can do face versus face with Cody and Cena. I think you'll be fine. I don't, but yeah, like that as an option. Do you want it? Do you not want it? Let us know down in the comments, because this WrestleMania, yeah, like I say, it could be booked in so many different ways. It can go in so many different directions, and they all seem amazing. And it's crazy how good this Mania could potentially be. And if Rock wants to just shove his little face in there somewhere, he's obviously going to, and that could change everything. But we'll have to wait and see. But WWE, they've got a new TV show, or a new show, we're not entirely sure where it's going to end up coming. NXT Evolve is going to be the new show. Now, they no longer have NXT Level Up. That's no longer a thing, but they have announced the WWE LFG, which doesn't stand for Let's Frickin' Go.
It should do. It's just silly.
And now they've got this NXT Evolve show. Now, this news is coming from Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer. It's supposedly happening sometime this year. Gabe Sapolsky is going to be running it. He is obviously the person who started Evolve in the first place, way back in the day. It's going to be similar to Level Up, apparently, in terms of it's going to feature sort of developmental talent that aren't regulars on TV. But different to NXT Level Up, it's going to be a proper TV show with like storylines and promos and like actual, like laid out more like a WWE sort of Raw or SmackDown kind of TV show, just obviously much smaller and with developmental talent. Now, Meltzer mentioned in the Wrestling Observer newsletter that it was going to be done for TV stroke streaming, but didn't actually say what TV or what streaming that means. So maybe it's just a little add-on thing for Netflix that they're just going to chuck up there, or whether they're going to be looking for a TV rights deal for it specifically, not entirely sure. But WWE have obviously worked with Evolve for a really long time. They partnered back in 2015 and then bought them outright in 2020. And then after all this news came out, PW Insider had a few bits and pieces to add on to the end, saying that it will be taped in the Performance Center, and it will potentially feature WWE ID talent as well, which is obviously the independent sort of talent that they're kind of signing but not signing and just having on their bucks sort of around the indie scene. So it could feature some of the talent from that. And that Gabe Sapolsky has signed a new deal with WWE last year, and he's going to be the sort of showrunner and sort of creative behind it as well. Now, well, as the WWE LFG show is the sort of spiritual successor to Level Up, this one is like being said like internally to be like a brand new thing on its own. But we're just gonna have to wait and see where it shakes out, where it ends up, whether it's gonna be on TV, whether it's gonna be on streaming, what exactly it's gonna look like. But we do have a brand new sort of developmental TV show within the WWE system.
Yeah, and that's quite fascinating in itself, that NXT maybe isn't being seen as full developmental anymore. It's like we've got a developmental for our developmental. That's quite interesting.
More of a TV show now.
Yeah. What a long way we've come. It's quite interesting. And like, just as like a little side thing from that, obviously we've got the Netflix side of WWE now. How have you found that? Like going into we've lost the WWE network, so we've got this whole new thing, and I quite liked it. Like I thought it was a bit easier to navigate so far, and if this is going to be a new addition onto that, I could see how it'd easily just slot in.
Yeah, I'm gonna miss the WWE network because it was just so easy, and it was all right there, and it was just everything you could ever possibly want, and it was all right there. But I think the Netflix thing's gonna shape out to be amazing. I think obviously they're not gonna chuck everything up straight away. They're gonna kind of drip feed it as they go along. So it'll be interesting to see just how much of the network ends up on Netflix as time goes on. But I think in terms of just getting new people onto WWE, like you're gonna have so many people who just flick on Netflix, see, WWE, what's that? I've not watched that since I was a kid. Let's give it a go. And
Christmas has been great for it, hasn't it? Because we obviously, if you reconnect with family, whatever it is, you have that many people who turn to you go, oh, WWE's on Netflix, and it's just there, and like when you watch something, then the screens flash on, whatever it is, it's raw, and you're just like, I have stuff to talk about, guys, gather round. It's great.
And that first show, that first Raw, they are going big for. So like, if that gets people just going, oh, what is this all about these days? Not watched this since the 90s or whatever. Flick it on and see what happens. You never know what sort of viewership that can bring over.
That'll be interesting seeing how many eyes are pulled in for that first Raw on Netflix. We will have to wait and see. But someone who doesn't look like they will be performing on that first Raw on Netflix is Kairi Sane, bless her, because obviously if you've been keeping up to date with Raw and everything else, she got attacked backstage. She was involved in that Women's Intercontinental Championship bracket, like for the tournament, but then I don't think she ever actually had a match. She got attacked backstage, and then Io Sky swapped in for her. She got all the way to the semis, then didn't make it to the final. It is what it is. But now we know that this wasn't just like some kind of storyline thing just done for added drama. It looks like Kairi has genuinely hurt herself. So she's posted on Instagram that she's currently dealing with an arm injury, and within that you can see it looks like she's in a hospital. I think she's got a bit of a sling and a cast on one of her arms, and the caption is, "I'll get an arm of iron." What a badass. She's a badass, absolute badass. So yeah, it looks like she is just out for a while. We don't know exactly what the injury is. I'm sure we'll get some updates on it eventually. But right now, it's just a case of wishing her a speedy recovery. It's been a bit of a crap 2024 coming into 2025 for Damage Control, because we lost Asuka to a knee injury. Dakota Kai's only just come back from her own injury, and now we've lost
Kairi Sane's face as well in the
oh my goodness, yeah. Just blasted open. Yeah, they've not had a lot of luck, so hopefully they can all get fit and healthy at some point in 2025 and just take the division by storm.
Hell yeah, Kairi Sane's amazing. These things always, it just sucks to report on these things. But yeah, all we can do is wish her the best to get well as soon as goddamn possible, because she is incredible and I want her back on my goddamn TV. So yeah, just all the best to Kairi Sane, and hope she gets well very, very soon.
Yeah.
That is it. Thank you very much for joining us for the first Saturday news of 2025. You can follow us over in the old social medias. You can follow me at Fill My Chambers, and you can follow Gareth
at gmorgan04 on X, at Gareth Morgram on Instagram, and then at fitness.focus.gm for all your personal training and fitness needs. Go and check me out.
There you go, and have yourselves a bloody good day.
Bye.